Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for being at the September 15th, 2020 Montgomery County evening public hearing. We're looking at agenda items 3D, 18, 19, and 20. And the first, we're going to do them all at the same time. And the public hearings are a public hearing on the 2020 to 2024 subdivision staging policy. For Bill 3720, Subdivision Preliminary Plan, Adequate Public Facilities Amendments. Bill 3820, Taxation Development Impact Taxes for Transportation and Public School Improvement and Amendments. And Expedited Bill 3920, Taxation Recordation Tax Amendments. The first of several Fed and GO committees, Planning, Housing, and Economic Development and Government Operation Committee work sessions is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, September 23rd. Persons wishing to submit additional material for the Council's consideration should do so by 5 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, September 16th. If you would like to follow the progress of a Council bill, the Council website has a subscribe function. Go to the Council website and use the View Council Records and Legislative Updates link to learn how. Each individual will have 2 minutes to speak. Individuals will be alerted as they approach their 2 minutes and may be disconnected. Also, there may be technical glitches during the public hearing that may need to be addressed by our staff, so thanks in advance for our patience. Susan Kennedy will be calling on people as we go through the list of speakers. And Ms. Kennedy, if you could please begin.
Okay, I sure will. Our first speaker tonight is Meredith Wellington. She will also be speaking to number 18, so she will be talking for 5 minutes. Ms. Wellington, you can unmute and begin.
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great. This is Meredith Wellington. I'm testifying on behalf of the County Executive on the Planning Board draft of the SSP and Bill 3720. The County Executive supports Bill 3720 and notes no fiscal impact. The OCA has recommended one change to the wording of the bill, and the County Executive supports that change. The County Executive has just learned of a new amendment proposed by the Fed Chair and will be submitting comments at a future date. The County Executive is opposing the Planning Board's proposed SSP. The County Executive recommends that the Council leave the current SSP in place. This will happen automatically when the November 15th deadline for adopting the SSP passes. There will then be an opportunity to amend the current SSP. The reasons for the County Executive's opposition. The County Executive, I hope you've received them all, has sent extensive comments and guidance on the Planning Board's 44 recommendations, as well as a detailed fiscal analysis by OMB. So this is not a simple subject. But on its face, this proposal exacerbates school overcrowding and road congestion, gives up $43 million in impact tax revenues, and singles out Clarksburg for different treatment for schools, even though it's all one school system. None of this squares with the purpose and requirements of the Adequate Public Facilities Ordinance, the APFO, or the Subdivision Staging Policies, this SSP. Since 1973, the APFO has required that public facilities, roads and transportation, sewer and water, schools, police stations, firehouses, and health clinics must be adequate to support new development. This SSP goes in the opposite direction, on school overcrowding. This SSP encourages school overcrowding and, except in Clarksburg, removes any mechanism to manage it. The County Executive supports an emergency button to address school adequacy. This proposal removes moratorium in approximately 97% of the county, everywhere but Clarksburg. The Planning Board rejected a staff proposal that would have added an additional step in place of moratorium and put nothing in its place. It will fall to the Council and to the Executive to wrestle with this problem. 120% is the county limit now, but there will be no limit on school capacity in 97% of the county if the council approves this proposal. This proposal also worsens school overcrowding in Clarksburg because it establishes a looser standard for moratorium. It's going from 120% to 125%. The county executive has serious fiscal concerns. This proposal, instead of securing its resources to assure that infrastructure keeps up with new development, this SSP voluntarily gives up revenue, losing over $43 million from FY21 through FY26 in impact taxes. It tries to recoup the losses through complicated destabilizing revenue proposals, including an increase in the recordation tax. The county executive would keep the current SSP and retain its stable revenue structure with some modification. In sum, this is just a pre-COVID-19 proposal made after COVID at a time when the county now has a shortfall of over $1 billion during the next 6 years. What's the reason for the revenue loss? This SSP proposes housing incentives using the revenues that are supposed to be for school infrastructure under the APFO. It's a simple proposal, really. It lowers impact taxes, including substantial discounts in some locations, and keeps taxes higher in other locations. As a result, however, impact tax rates are arbitrary among developers. And for the county, the developers are not paying their fair share, with the fiscal burden falling on our residents, and this at a very difficult time. This SSP proposes these tax cuts as housing incentives, even though housing under the current SSP is already going to most of the locations where the county wants it to go within the current tax structure. This issue is discussed in detail in the county executive's letter and was analyzed by OMB. Finally, this SSP improperly singles out Clarksburg for different treatment from the rest of the county. For Clarksburg, the planning board proposes much higher overall impact taxes without any discount as compared to the rest of the county.
Ms. Wellington,
yes.
your time is up. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Cecily Basker.
Good evening. My name is Cecily Basker, and as mayor, I speak tonight on behalf of the town of Chevy Chase. The town has also submitted detailed written comments, so I will focus my remarks on a few of our biggest concerns, namely the need to define effective alternatives to building moratoria and the motor vehicle adequacy test, and the need to adequately evaluate the financial impact of changes to school impact and recordation taxes. The high quality of the county schools is a primary reason why many people and businesses locate here. To maintain that high quality and advance school equity, the primary goal of the SSP must remain the effective implementation of the Adequate Public Facilities Ordinance. We support elimination of residential moratoria only if they are replaced with effective tools to ensure adequate school infrastructure. The utilization premium payment is not such a tool. We therefore propose that the building moratoria be maintained for 1 year while a task force composed of residents, planning staff, and SPPS explores effective replacement tools. After a comprehensive review that balances planning and Board of Education perspectives, the Council will be in a better position to address concerns about school capacity. In addition, the Council should undertake a comprehensive financial analysis to determine if the proposed changes in fees and taxes will result in sufficient funds to maintain adequate public facilities. Given the enormous pressures currently on our budgets, we also wonder, should the SSP generate a net increase in funding for schools? Turning to traffic, we recommend that the SSP include measures to assess traffic impacts in red policy areas. Congestion in these highly urbanized areas has many negative consequences and should not be ignored. We support elimination of the motor vehicle adequacy test only once the biennial monitoring program and the Bethesda UMP are well-defined and operational. Finally, pedestrian and cyclist safety should be a part of the LATR. They are important to us and underlie our strong support for funding for the Capitol Crescent Trail Tunnel under Wisconsin Avenue. Providing residents with safe and comfortable walking and cycling routes will help get them out of their cars and reduce the county's traffic problems. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Bridget Newton. Mayor Newton, you may unmute yourself and begin. I see her there. We will come back to her. She may be having technical.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello.
The Mayor and Council reviewed the recently transmitted Montgomery County Planning Board Draft 2020-2024 County Growth Policy, CGP. We appreciate the time and effort of all to update the Subdivision Staging Policy, SSP, to ensure the best available tools are used to test whether infrastructure like schools, transportation, water, and sewer services can support future growth. Thank you for the opportunity to share our perspectives on this draft. While there are points the Mayor and Council applaud, there are also areas of concern. We believe that the calendar to approve the draft CGP ignores the pandemic environment in which we live, and due to the short turnaround time, we have not had the opportunity to fully digest and analyze the implications. Therefore, we strongly advocate for a one-time, one-year deferral to November 2021 to approve this critical planning tool. We fully support recommendations 4.4 and 4.5. The Rockville Mayor and Council have strong reservations that the fiscal analyses fail to reflect the current pandemic macro and micro environments. The assumptions pre-pandemic may not reflect working from home, remote learning, and the need for home classroom space. Additionally, recent reports indicate that there is a renewed interest in moving to the suburbs as families want more green space for backyard recreation and home offices for school and remote work requirements. As such, the underlying assumptions and methodologies of the SSP may inaccurately project the amount of financial resources generated to fund school capital improvement projects. Due to concerns over current economic and in many cases personal crises, our community has not had the time nor resources to devote to understanding the full economic and financial implications of the draft SSP. Whether on an individual or governmental basis, the proposed changes to funding critical infrastructure needs such as schools, transportation, water, and sewer are monumental. Without thoughtful deliberation by the County Council and all stakeholders, there could be serious unintended fiscal consequences. We strongly urge you to enact legislation to amend Chapter 33A, which requires adoption of an updated SSP by November 1, 2020, and allow for a one-time, one-year deferral. Premature passage of this draft may have lasting implications that adversely impact the future growth and sustainability of Montgomery County. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Casey Anderson. Are you there, Casey?
I see him. I see his name.
Yeah. Mr. Anderson?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
You may begin.
Sorry about that. This is Cathy Anderson, Chair of the Planning Board. I won't repeat the data that you heard in our summary this afternoon, but I wanted to address some of the reasons why we believe that it's urgent that this new SSP be adopted and that we reject the abject failure of the moratorium policy that's embodied in the current SSP. First, new development is not driving school overcrowding in most of the county. With the exception of Clarksburg, I believe that we've documented conclusively that the source of school overcrowding is almost entirely a result of neighborhood turnover. That is to say, housing that was developed in some cases generations ago that's being sold to new families and therefore is outside the scope of the school impact tax regime. Secondly, our school impact payments are among the highest in the country, and within the region, only Loudoun County has higher impact tax rates, a place where greenfield development, much more like Clarksburg, is prevalent. None of our peer jurisdictions, that is to say, the COG jurisdictions in the immediate vicinity of Washington, D.C., impose any school moratorium policy at any level of school overcrowding, and it's creating enormous problems for our economic competitiveness and our ability to generate affordable housing. Which brings me to point number 3. These high school impact tax rates combined with the moratorium policy are devastating to our economic competitiveness because they prevent not only production of affordable housing available to people who make 40, 60, 80% of area median income, but even people who make 100 or more percent of area median income are unable to find attainable and appropriate housing that suits their needs. And that undercuts our ability to attract and retain the kind of workforce we need to have a healthy economy and tax base. Moreover, at the more affordable levels of housing, it prevents our ability to deliver the units which in some cases today will produce MPDUs because if there's no new development, there are no new regulated affordable units. And in some years' time, the new units, as they age, will become more affordable and serve that part of our housing needs.
Mr. Anderson, sorry, my apologies, you're out of time.
And I just wanted to say the moratorium has failed to solve our school capacity problems. It's not 1973 anymore.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Matthew Gordon. Mr. Gordon, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Good evening, members of the council. Matthew Gordon from the law firm of Selzer Gurbich, and I'm providing my testimony on behalf of the Greater Bethesda Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber commends the council on its efforts and leadership to develop policies and programs that have helped local businesses through the economic turbulence created by the ongoing pandemic. The growth policy presents another opportunity for the council to exhibit leadership in an area that is critical to the economic health of the county. We commend the planning board and its staff on its thoughtful and analytical approach to the growth policy. In particular, the recommendations relative to school capacity and impact tax rates are supported by objective, historically verified data. We offer 3 recommended changes to the growth policy and impact tax bill that are intended to better encourage affordable housing, job creation, and an expanded commercial tax base in the county. 1, designate downtown Bethesda as a desired growth and investment area. We fully support the planning board's approach identifying transit-oriented areas for targeted residential growth that is in line with the Council of Governments' regional housing targets, which the council unanimously supported resolution last year. The planning board excluded downtown Bethesda from the list of desired growth areas under the rationale that Bethesda is already experiencing housing growth, and that by excluding Bethesda, it may encourage residential growth in other transit-oriented locations. We ask the council to include downtown Bethesda in this desired growth area so that it can remain competitive with similar markets in neighboring jurisdictions, expand the county's commercial tax base, and contribute significant affordable housing that is proximate to transit and employment opportunities. The development costs in downtown Bethesda are already significant, and the urban design, architectural, energy, and environmental requirements exceed those standards in other urban areas of the county. Downtown Bethesda also provides a substantial amount of property tax revenue and affordable housing for the county. So we ask that you designate downtown Bethesda in that prioritized category. Along those same lines, and in order to be consistent with the COG's regional housing targets, we also ask the council to provide discounted impact tax rates for office development in desired growth areas. Given that the county is focusing residential growth in these transit-oriented locations, it is sound planning and economic development policy to similarly encourage employment uses nearby. Given the significant economic obstacles...
Mr. Gordon, your time is up.
Thank you
very much. Our next speaker...
Well, before we go to their next speaker, it's my understanding that Councilmember Reamer's thought was that Mr. Anderson was supposed to have 5 minutes, but he has signed up for only 2, and I wanted to clear that up before we go on.
Okay. Mr. President, I think if there's testimony on more than one item for the evening, they are allowed 5 minutes.
They are, but I believe they had to sign up for that.
Correct, and I only had him for one item.
I understand. But I believe that's... is Mr. Anderson still on? He's not. Well, of course, we can read it in his testimony rather than otherwise. Thank you. Please, the next speaker.
Okay. Our next speaker is Dan Wilhelm. He will also be speaking to items 19 and 20, and he has 5 minutes. Mr. Wilhelm, you may unmute and begin.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. I'm Dan Wilhelm, president of the Greater Colesville Citizens Association. GCCA thanks the planning staff and the board did a good job in the draft before you're addressing today. This is looking at a large number of public issues and a lot of public meetings over at least a year. The issues are interrelated and cover the subdivision staging policy, Bill 3820, 3920. GCCA supports all the 44 recommendations. The existing subdivision staging policy no longer achieves its intended purpose. The assumption used for the current SSP was that student growth comes from new development, which is no longer accurate. Only about 25% of new housing comes from new development produces school-age kids on a countywide basis, with most of that confined to the Clarksburg area. For much of the rest of the county, less than 10% of the new student growth comes from new development. The remainder comes from turnover. The revised SSP needs to reflect this fact. GCCA supports changing the name to reflect the recognition that the growth policy has a role in achieving other county policies. The current SSP hinders the ability of the county to achieve them. GCCA supports the proposal to establish 3 different categories for schools: the greenfield, infill, and turnover. GCCA supports the proposal to eliminate school moratorium due to school crowding, except in the green areas. In our written testimony, we recommend a change to add BRT stations to the red category. The SSP, and especially the related impact taxes, have a severe impact on a number of other county objectives and impact development in the eastern part of the county, especially that in the White Oak Science Gateway Master Plan. The high rates have 3 major impacts: slows the ability to achieve housing needs, impacts affordable housing, and hinders economic development by making them uneconomical. After extensive dialogue with various potential tenants and banks, GLDC found that the Viva White Oak project is not economically viable because of the high taxes. At the hearing before the planning board, a development representative from Wheaton also indicated the same thing. If development is allowed to go forward, the county benefits from 1, more jobs, and 2, increased tax revenue, which occurs year after year and is much larger than any impact tax reduction. If the development doesn't go forward, the county receives no tax revenue. To address the above, GCCA supports the reduction in school impact taxes to 100% of the cost of a student seat, which would be their fair share. We also support providing discount for single-family attached housing and multifamily units in desired growth areas in the infill and the turnover categories. GCCA supports the expansion of exemptions to include opportunity zones. There are already a number of exemptions for both school and transportation taxes. One is for state enterprise zones, which should continue. Should the approval of the SSP, since the approval of the SSP in 2016, the federal government has approved areas as opportunity zones. The purpose of both of these zones is to provide development incentives in economically distressed area. Therefore, GCC recommends that the opportunity zone be exempt in impact taxes just like the enterprise zone. In our area, that affects Viva, White Oak, Hillendale, and White Oak north of New Hampshire Avenue. We also support retaining an exemption for projects that include 25% affordable housing, which covers the Hillendale Gateway project. GCCA supports the increase in recordation tax, largely to replace the reduction in impact taxes, especially for schools. Unlike the impact tax, which are very regressive in that it charges poor areas and rich areas the same, the recordation tax is based on value, so the high value properties will pay more. And since most of the school crowding comes from turnover, recordation tax collects only when the property is sold. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wilhelm. Our next speaker will be Gordy Brenny. Mr. Brenny, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Good evening, Gordy Brenny, Treasurer of the Montgomery County Taxpayers League. We've got a mess on our hands, and complicated planning practices have failed us. We're creating fewer jobs than our neighbors. Our median income is dropping. School transportation and affordable housing construction budgets aren't keeping up with enrollments, traffic, or housing demands because we've hit capital budget ceilings for borrowing due to a stagnant tax base and bad management. Similarly, WSSC's hit its capital ceiling, and water and sewage system maintenance is being deferred because of declining revenues and costs are out of control. Growth, not tax increases, will pay for increased government services. Plans should not stick with strategies that limit growth, and good plans should create accelerated growth to pay for more and better paying jobs, schools, transportation, and housing. Creating a vision is not enough. Planning must be coordinated with budgeting based on planning growth targets that rank projects using return on investment analysis and expanding our tax base to include higher performing commercial organizations. We're pleased to see recommendations to reform automatic moratoriums. The East County moratorium over several decades cost our most needy residents dearly. The recommendation to review transportation capacity performance every 2 years is also a step in the right direction, but needs to be done annually to align with the budget. Additionally, the Planning Board shouldn't layer on new safety requirements that prioritize bicycles ahead of roads unless roads have a lower return on investment. The Planning Board can make a similar difference with independent performance reviews of school and affordable housing strategies, recommending what works best and adjusting plans accordingly. One example would be to open up moratorium schools to charter school competition to increase capacity. The Executive Council set policy but have no independent reviews of policy effectiveness or efficiency. Independent recommendations from the Planning Board could help. This is about data-driven performance management with investments that pay for themselves. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Charles Robert Dalrymple. Mr. Dalrymple, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Good evening. Am I heard?
Yes, you are.
I understand that being heard and being listened to are two complete different things, but here's holding out hope. This is Bob Dalrymple with law firm of Selzer Gurvich. We have submitted written testimony or will submit written testimony on behalf of our individual clients as the circumstances warrant. Tonight I'm speaking on my own behalf. I generally support the policy and especially the elimination of the threat of moratorium conditions and the direction of growth towards the opportunity zones and the other growth areas of the county. My only comment really tonight relates to the 4-year cycle of the growth policy and how that relates to this particular policy. I support the policy being adopted on November 15th as law requires, but I would suggest that it is a pretty far-reaching demand to think that we're good enough at projecting the future in these 4 years to come, given the circumstances that we've all experienced here in the last several months and will continue to experience. So my thought is that this policy needs to be a little bit different and needs to have built into it a mid-cycle review to see what else might be necessary. Opportunity zone might be the entire county. We just don't know, but we do know that we need to be competitive and to do what's necessary to bring more business to Montgomery County. So that's really the crux of my testimony is that I do think that we need to have a periodic review. I understand where this policy fits in the political cycle and why we have it midterm. But I think given the circumstances of COVID, we're going to need to do a temperature check here, if you will, at some point, whether it's a year, 2 years, whenever we think that the new normal is established. Thank you for letting me be heard and hopefully being listened to as well.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Barbara Sears. Ms. Sears, you may unmute and begin.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Sears with the law firm of Miles and Stockbridge. Clarksburg is a major resource for new housing in Montgomery County. 2 long-standing Clarksburg projects responsive to this demand and including 132 total MPDUs were scheduled for approval before the Planning Board before July 1, 2020, when it was discovered that the capacity numbers for Clarksburg High School had unexpectedly changed due to a recalculation. This meant neither plan could proceed without a solution. Combined, the projects would generate approximately 104 high school students, but those students would not arrive for years to come, given the time required for the remaining development approvals, permits, site preparation, home construction, and sales over a multi-year period of time. There is substantial capacity to accommodate high school students in nearby high schools. These projects will also provide substantial amounts of public infrastructure desired by the community at no cost to the county. In the draft SSP, the Planning Board has identified two appropriate solutions to address the issues raised. Recommendation 4.5 on page 44 and recommendation 4.11 on page 53. 4.4 allows greenfield areas to remain open for moratorium for new development subject to the utilization payment so long as the projects do not exceed capacity by more than 125% and certain seat deficit requirements are not exceeded. 4.11 allows pending greenfield development approvals to proceed based on high school capacities in a high school within 10 miles of the development when utilization does not exceed 105%. These are fair and reasonable solutions to a difficult problem, and we respectfully ask the Council to include them in the SSP. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Alan Bowser, who will also be speaking to items 19 and 20. So Mr. Bowser will be speaking for 5 minutes. Mr. Bowser, you may begin.
My name is Alan Bowser, and I'm the president of the Montgomery County Civic Federation. The association members of the MCCF represent over 150,000 households from civic and homeowner associations across the county. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony on the proposed changes to the subdivision staging policy, the bill to reduce and eliminate some development impact taxes, and the proposed amendment to again increase the recordation tax on home sales and refinancing for the second time in 4 years. Well, much of the testimony you will hear will be about transportation and school capacity, which of course are very important. This policy is also supposed to address adequacy of public safety, water and sewage infrastructure, water and air quality, stormwater management, forest and urban tree canopy, and park facilities. Unfortunately, this draft does not address most of these. As you know, policies and decisions about the adequacy of public facilities generate a lot of interest among residents. We had a lively discussion at our meeting last night, and we appreciate the professionalism of the planning staff who fielded questions from residents on these complex issues. Given the time constraints for testimony on these issues, I will summarize our overall position on the proposals. We're providing more detailed testimony in writing at a later date. We appreciate the efforts the planning department has made, but this proposed new policy is a major departure from the purpose of the policy, which is to balance the infrastructure that is needed to support new development. This proposed policy does not ensure adequate public facilities and transportation or in school capacity. In addition, the recommendations for reductions of development impact taxes for some and additional exemptions from taxes for others will result in additional funding problems for school and transportation capacity projects that are needed to accommodate new growth. At a time of constrained resources during a global pandemic, this would exacerbate the budget problems that already exist. With regard to the removal of school moratorium from the policy, we think it's essential to recognize that a so-called moratorium in an area where school cluster is at 120% of capacity has never equated to a ban on new housing in the county, as some officials have asserted. First of all, less than 15% of areas of the county have been subject to a moratorium due to school clusters at 120% of capacity. Second, the moratorium affects only approval of new applications at the planning board until a capacity solution has been programmed by the council in the CIP, which has taken a maximum of 2 years. Once programmed, additional new development projects can be approved while the cluster can continue at well above 100% of capacity before the school capacity project is finally built and operating. Third, any development project that has already been approved by the Planning Board can still be constructed, whether it's in a moratorium area or not. This is known as the development pipeline. This development pipeline of approved projects has over 32,000 housing units already approved but not yet built. No moratorium is preventing them from being constructed, and many have been proceeding through the permitting process. Many of these units are located in areas that are exempt from paying development impact taxes, so those are not a deterrent either. There are also over 20 million square feet of approved and unbuilt commercial space waiting for construction that can be built whether in a moratorium area or not. The purpose of the moratorium provision in the school capacity section of the SSP is to call attention to the council that a school capacity solution project must be addressed and programmed for a particular area. Without the moratorium, the county may not address the problem in a timely way. Unfortunately, the Planning Board has removed the provision without providing an adequate replacement solution to the capacity issues faced by MCPS. The reductions and additional exemptions from development impact taxes and the shifting of that lost funding for new infrastructure onto current residents through another county-wide increase in recreation tax will make the county even less affordable to residents. Finally, with regard to sustainability, now is the time for the council to have a more robust discussion of county sustainability efforts and how they can be incorporated into the SSP to improve our water and air quality, provide adequate green infrastructure, and incorporate urban environmental guidelines. Please do not wait another 4 years to begin this important conversation. We ask the council to determine what problems are being solved by these new proposals. Based on our review and experience, many of the proposals appear to make the capacity and budget problems worse, not better. We ask you to proceed with caution and seek out balanced data, answer constituent questions about these proposals. We appreciate those of you who will be keeping an open mind. Thank you very much for your attention, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Philip Hummel. Mr. Hummel, you may unmute and begin your testimony.
Good evening. My name is Philip Hummel with Miles and Stockbridge. We represent the owners of 7815 Woodmont Avenue and 7820 Wisconsin Avenue in downtown Bethesda, near Veterans Park and the new Marriott headquarters. I am commenting on Bill 3820. Since the start of the Bethesda Downtown Plan, our clients have worked to redevelop their site as a high-rise building with 25% MPDUs. The Bethesda Plan recommends this project, and due to the Council's desire to have 25% MPDUs at this location, provides incentives, including the current development impact tax exemption and additional building height if 25% MPDUs are included. Without these incentives, the project is not economically feasible. After the adoption of the Bethesda Plan, our clients submitted a sketch plan in December 2017 for development with 25% MPDUs. Questions regarding the acquisition of land for expanding Veterans Park on abutting land to the south of 7820 Wisconsin, however, has prevented the sketch plan from proceeding for almost 3 years. Our clients have worked cooperatively with planning and park staff to resolve issues related to the new Veterans Park Civic Green to allow the project to proceed. Recently, the Planning Commission entered into a contract to purchase parkland and are in discussions with our clients to finalize the common boundary, which efforts could result in reduced public costs for the expanded park. Bill 3820 would modify the existing development impact tax exemption for projects of 25% MPDUs unless a preliminary plan application is filed and accepted by March 1. Due to the need to finalize the park boundary and update the sketch plan, it is unlikely that our clients will be able to file a preliminary plan application by March 1. Thus, as stated in our previously submitted letter, we request that development applications for properties recommended in a master plan to include 25% MPDUs be grandfathered from the proposed amendments in Bill 3820. This change would promote fairness and recognize the delay outside our client's control. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Jane Lyons. Ms. Lyons, you may begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Good evening. My name is Jane Lyons, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Coalition for Smarter Growth. We strongly support the Planning Board's recommendations to encourage sustainable growth, support new housing, and maintain a high-quality school system. Please refer to my written submission for our full testimony. I now realize I should have signed up for the 5-minute option. But first and foremost, we strongly support the elimination of automatic housing moratoria throughout most of the county. As you've heard, less than 30% of these students come from new development, but the moratorium worsens housing affordability, hinders economic development, and prevents sustainable land use. We should be encouraging new housing in major transit and job hubs, not banning it, especially during a recession. Second, we support reducing the school impact tax to 100% of the cost of a seat and lowering the rate to 60% in desired growth areas. Overall, this would help economic development without a major impact to schools. Even with the highest impact taxes in the region, those fees only fund approximately 6 to 8% of the MCPS capital budget. Third, we're concerned about the proposed utilization premium payments. We should not be charging developers for impacts not caused by their projects. If the school is already overcrowded, it is because of past student enrollment growth and points to a larger failure to adequately fund schools. This recommendation will not build schools. However, we would support increasing the school impact tax from 60 to 100% for projects located in desired growth areas with overcrowded schools. Fourth, we support progressive increases to the recordation tax. Since over 70% of new students come from neighborhood turnover and recordation taxes account for nearly a quarter of the MCPS capital budget, it makes sense to target new home purchases for funding school construction. Nevertheless, if increasing the recordation tax isn't feasible, we recommend adjusting the distribution of the revenue to increase the share going to schools and rental assistance. Finally, we support impact tax exemptions for opportunity zones and the recommendations in the transportation component, which will support Vision Zero and transit-oriented development. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cathy Bharan. Ms. Bharan, you may begin.
Hey, Katya here. Hi.
Hi.
I'm speaking on behalf of MCCPTA tonight. We followed the progress of the SSP over the last year, and we were optimistic about innovative changes to support the needs of our growing county. Unfortunately, with few exceptions, the proposals here will worsen conditions at our public schools. We believe deeply in the need to support affordable housing, but our students need and deserve a more balanced growth policy. First, we need mechanisms to maintain and improve the quality of our schools. Eliminating moratorium is easy. Replacing it with ways to test and support capacity in all of our schools is the hard part. Mandatory planning board review was the only attempt to do this, but they took it out. It needs to be reinstated and enhanced. Second, we must fund capacity for new development. This policy proposes a convoluted tax structure that differentiates student generation rates by area, but not school construction costs. It adds discounts where there are already lower taxes, incentives, and market forces at play. And it chiefly benefits quote-unquote desired growth areas that may not align with the reality of a post-COVID era. The impact of 7 different tax rates is impossible to predict or quantify, but in any case it can't be analyzed based on revenue alone. It must be looked at on a net basis against the cost to meet related demand. In some areas, new development will cover only half its school costs. In other areas, none at all. The shortfall is passed on to residents, and schools are left competing for money against other critical projects. Recordation tax is not the solution. The council may choose to increase recordation based on the impact of turnover, but it's not acceptable to then use that money to subsidize profitable market rate development instead of schools. As written, if we were to meet our target of 4,000 units in desired growth areas, those units would cost us up to $18 million to meet school demand, or twice that in opportunity zones. Meanwhile, high school enrollment will go up 10% in 5 years. That's 5,200 students, 2 high schools, and at least $260 million that's not even in our CIP yet. Now is not the time to give up millions in school funding. We have also submitted detailed comments. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Jonathan Jen. He will also be speaking to items 18, 19, and 20. You will have 5 minutes to speak. Mr. Jen, you may begin.
President Katz, Vice President Hucker, distinguished council members, good evening. I'm Jonathan Jen, testifying on behalf of Global Lifestyle Development Corporation and in support of most of the recommendations presented in the Planning Board draft relating to the 2020 SSP and Bills 3720, 3820, and 3920. First, the Planning Board and planning staff should be commended for the incredibly comprehensive, data-driven, and context-sensitive analyses which laid the foundation for the Planning Board's laudable and innovative set of recommendations. In advance of your scheduled work sessions, I plan to submit more detailed data analytical charts to supplement this evening's oral testimony. As will be more fully analyzed with those computational charts, the Planning Board's recommendations go a long way toward mitigating the three most fundamental flaws of the existing SSP and associated impact taxes. One, they're the most egregious form of regressive taxation possible. Two, they perpetuate and exacerbate the barriers to the county seeking its racial equality and social justice goals. And three, they thwart the county's Thrive Montgomery 2050 general plan objectives, especially for the historically, economically disadvantaged communities in the county. To mitigate these existing flaws, the Planning Board draft includes the simplest, yet most impactful and easiest to implement policy recommendation. Specifically, the Planning Board not only recommended retaining the exemption from transportation and school impact taxes for current enterprise zones, but also for the very same racial equality and social justice policy reasons, the Planning Board wisely and unanimously recommended including those same set of impact tax exemptions for qualified opportunity zones certified by the U.S. Treasury and located within the county. In many ways, exempting qualified opportunity zones from impact taxes can be even more strategic for the county than exempting enterprise zones. Unlike enterprise zones, for all the qualified opportunity zones located in the county, the federal government will be effectively an additional major, quote, co-investor automatically without having to apply for any federal grants through the federal government's Qualified Opportunity Zone Tax Incentive Program, which Congress enacted at the end of 2017. This federal program, therefore, didn't exist at the time of the Council's last quadrennial review and adoption of the 2016 SSP. Furthermore, the state of Maryland has enacted additional layers of state tax incentives uniquely applicable to the qualified opportunity zones located throughout the state, including, of course, those in Montgomery County. And as a result, depending on the success of a particular qualified opportunity zone development, for each $1 of county investment, quote, on paper, in the form of an exemption from impact taxes, the county could be unlocking as much as $10 or even significantly more in real, multiple federal and state co-investments in all of these qualified opportunities located in the county, and importantly, without the council having to appropriate a single dollar of actual county funds. This would also allow concurrently the county to access, leverage, and multiply these federal and state co-investments into the county's companion racial equality and social justice initiatives in the form of generating new jobs, economic development opportunities, and other community benefits in these historically economically disadvantaged communities in the county. Also very importantly, please also note that the Planning Board's recommendation for these impact exemptions do not extend to exempting enterprise zones or qualified opportunity zones from their applicable LATR or LATIP responsibilities, all of which these developments would remain fully obligated to pay. For at least the foregoing reasons, I thus respectfully request the County Council approve and adopt the Planning Board's recommendation 6.6 on page 95 of the Planning Board draft to exempt all qualified opportunity zones within the county from these impact taxes. Thank you for your time and consideration. Good night and good luck.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Allison Gillespie. Ms. Gillespie, you may begin.
Thank you. I wanted to introduce myself and say that I'm a parent of a local student at a school and an alumni, but and I'm also president of my neighborhood association, as many of the council members know, but my comments tonight are only my own and not representing anyone other than myself. I need to make that clear. I participated in the SSP process for many, many months because I really believe that it's important that we change the process. Oh, and Susan Kennedy, I forgot to say that I think I'm down wrong because I'm actually addressing 3 of the agenda items. So I don't know if I can change my 2 minutes to 5, but I'll give it a shot to try to squeeze everything into as quickly as I can. But I don't think that you should delay voting on the SSP or any of the taxation. There was lots and lots of work put into this way before COVID came along. Lots of thoughtful work, lots of data-driven work on behalf of planning. It was incredibly detailed and there was a lot of work done to reach out to the community and provide as much data as possible. I think it's also important not to put off doing anything about the moratorium or taxation, especially during COVID, because we're going to need as much redevelopment as possible. This is a big economic mess we're in, and so now would not be the time to slow down. I want to say that I support ending the moratorium, and many of the recommendations, in fact, I would say most of the recommendations in the report regarding impact tax and recreation tax changes are very, very good, and I especially support ending the moratorium because in my neighborhood it has done more harm than good. I live in Forest Glen, and it simply just doesn't work for what it's trying to do. My neighborhood has not seen any new development in 30 or more years, and yet we are teeming with children because of exactly what the data that planning has presented tells us. The houses turn over, new families move in, and the schools are bursting. The solution is not to say, oh, that's bad. The solution is to say, we need more schools and find ways to fund those schools. We need to fix the problems at hand and not try to continue fixing them with a broken tool, which is what the moratorium is.
Ms. Gillespie.
I think we need.
Ms. Gillespie, my apologies. I have to abide by the list that I was given, so your time is up. Thank you very much.
That's great, because I just was about to say that's it. So thanks a lot, Susan.
That works then. Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Amy Ginsberg. Ms. Ginsberg, you may begin.
Good evening. I'm Amy Ginsberg, Executive Director of Friends of White Flint, a nonprofit organization composed of residents, property owners, and businesses working to transform the White Flint Pike District area into a vibrant community. We offer the following comments on the proposed growth policy. Stopping development with a moratorium does not actually solve school overcrowding, as the vast majority of new students come from neighborhood turnover of single-family homes. Moratoria also prevent the county from increasing the housing supply and stifles the MPDU program. Therefore, we wholeheartedly support the planning staff recommendation that eliminates automatic moratoria. We also support lowering the impact tax to 60% in desired growth areas, which includes the Pike District, to encourage transit-oriented development in urban centers such as White Flint. Because the maximum impact tax utilization premium payment would be 120% in White Flint, which is revenue neutral, we support these new impact taxes in the UPP. We like that the proposed increase in the recordation tax is progressive and would go to school construction and rental assistance for low and moderate income households. It makes sense that turnover funds school construction and rental assistance. That said, we are wary of new taxes in the current economic and pandemic crisis. We support the recommendation to better incorporate the county's Vision Zero goal and to require a Vision Zero impact statement. And finally, we support the plan to remove traffic congestion adequacy standards around metro stations to promote transit-oriented development and recognize the unique requirements of development that lies within the watershed of a metro stop. Thank you for considering our comments as you refine Montgomery County's new growth policy.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Zachary Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein, you may begin.
Good evening. My name is Zach Weinstein, and I live in a downtown Silver Spring apartment building. I urge the Montgomery County Council to end the housing moratorium and implement policies that will lead to prosperity and equity in Silver Spring. We currently experience a housing affordability crisis. The pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement highlighted how decades of restrictive housing policies harm minorities and communities as a whole. Montgomery County must end the housing moratorium and encourage sustainable development if it hopes to remain a vibrant community for all. I also support extending the impact tax exemption for downtown Silver Spring. Silver Spring has seen incredible growth in the past decade. When I graduated college, Silver Spring was the obvious choice to pay less in rent, live near DC's job opportunities, and enjoy a walkable city. I think Silver Spring has a lot more room to grow, and extending the impact tax exemption will help us get there. I also support incorporating Vision Zero into the subdivision staging policy, as well as increasing intersection delay standards along Purple Line and BRT corridors. I appreciate the county's efforts to responsibly grow Montgomery County. By eliminating the housing moratorium, incentivizing development in Silver Spring, and aggressively pursuing transit safety, Montgomery County can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Wendy Calhoun. She will also be speaking to items 18, 19, and 20, so she will have 5 minutes. Ms. Calhoun, you may begin.
Good evening. Tonight I present the testimony of Melissa McKenna, who had a family emergency. I'm here for the money, equity, and to request a 1-year delay. 2 recommendations are fantastic. 4.4, applying the annual school test to 3 years in the future instead of 5 years. Construction funding is in the first 2 years of the CIP budget. This change recognizes when projects will actually be completed, rather than the wishful thinking of planning funding in the out years. 4.3, retaining the individual school test. Considering cluster capacity masked individual overcrowded schools, this measure is crucial, and leads to my grave concern regarding recommendation 4.13, capacity at a nearby school. I strongly oppose this exception in any school impact area. Unless and until the Board of Education will consider such relief and act accordingly, this is an option that will not be used and the students will only suffer further. To relieve Clarksburg Elementary School would require busing past many other schools already over capacity in the cluster to either Damascus Cluster or 7.6 miles away to Monocacy Elementary School. Only schools at 80 to 90% capacity should be considered. Ordinarily, parents would have gone ballistic at this suggestion, except we're in a pandemic. Question, would you want to be moved to a hospital at 105% of capacity? Severe overcrowding is hundreds of students over capacity and not easily moved. There will be no one place to move unless you make space for it. Before their addition, Barnsley Elementary School was 280 students over capacity. Wholesale removal of the 350-student GT program would have been necessary. Just because on paper 54 seats are available does not equal 2 classrooms. These seats span 6 grades in an elementary school. Think of that space like a house. While you may have an empty corner here and there, does not mean you have another bedroom. Remember that a revision to the Board of Education policy FAARA a few years ago aligned class size with staffing practice for class size reduction, focus schools, thus sometimes considerably increasing capacity on paper without any actual increase in physical space. My greatest alarm is recommendation 4.8, abolishing residential development moratoria without some stopgap replacement. I'm missing the staging part of subdivision staging policy. Had White Flint 1 developed unchecked, we'd be in quite the mess now. But it had staging built in. Staging isn't stopping. It's allowing infrastructure to keep pace with development impacts. Mr. Sartori stated flat out what we've known for years. Capacity projects to relieve moratoria were and still are preferred over long-standing severe overcrowding and disintegrating schools in non-developing areas. Clarksburg is the perfect example. Despite Clarksburg Elementary School at over 200% of capacity, it was just delayed again. Why? Lack of funds, which we won't have next year either, and priority given to continuing projects like Woodward and Crown to avoid moratoria, which we also won't have the money for next year. Which brings us full circle to the money. We don't want to lose any money. Bill 3820 presents several worrisome changes. 6.2, calculating standard school impact taxes and applying discounts. What is the rationale for reducing the school impact tax revenue? Its calculation is unusually specific, has a direct nexus to impact via student generation rate, and yet is still an insufficient amount. At a minimum, these rates should be standard across the board at 100%. 6.3, allowing other school impact tax credits. First, this raises a huge red flag for me on equity. Developers could prefer high-demand areas over those with substandard facilities in areas that lack developer interest. Will they be racing to fix Twinbrook or Summit Hall Elementary Schools? Were credits beyond land dedication discussed with MCPS beforehand? Despite tepid interest over the summer, the glaring omission of this topic in their letter makes me highly skeptical that this issue will rise above academic priorities. The roadblock against credits is Board of Education Policy CNE, facility improvements that are not funded with Montgomery County revenues. It exactly prescribes acceptable improvements. For more than 4 years, I tried to get MCPS to accept $500,000 from the city of Rockville towards a new school. No dice. Please do not offer something that MCPS will not accept. Bill 39.20. In 2016, the recordation tax was considered independently of the SSP, and since then has exceeded impact tax funding for MCPS CIP. It suggested that this fee compensate for other lost revenue. We need more revenue, not hope to not lose current insufficient funding. Please defer the SSP revision for 1 year. Too much is changing too fast. All data collected now are null and void. The impacts and recovery from combined global circumstances will be felt for years. Mr. Sartori summarized school capacity in SSP on July 16th. When we decide no moratoria, we have made the adequacy determination. We don't think there's a point where school infrastructure is inadequate at all. But that is the purpose of the SSP. Analyze, plan for, and fund adequate public facilities. Period. When the name change to County Growth Policy was presented, I worried that the name might send the wrong message. However, if we are to have a policy that does nothing to mitigate the traffic impacts from new development, or even pretends to recognize and respect school capacity limitations, it seems to me that the new name perfectly captures the priorities of the county.
Ms. Calhoun, thank you very much. Your time is up. Thank you. Mr. President, that wraps up our speakers for this public hearing.
Thank you very much. The next public hearing is agenda item 18, though as you've heard, many people also have already commented on agenda item 18, and that's Bill 3720, Subdivision Preliminary Plan Adequate Public Facilities Amendments. Ms. Kennedy, please.
Our first speaker for this public hearing is Judd Ashman. Mr. Ashman, you have 2 minutes. You may begin. He may not still be there.
Well,
he was there. I don't see him anymore.
I saw him too.
Okay, well, maybe he dropped off and we'll be back. We will move on to our next speaker, who is Edward Amatetti. Mr. Amatetti, if you would begin, you have 2 minutes. And it looks like we've lost him as well. Mr. Agliata, are you there? Unfortunately, it looks like
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You are there. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Sorry, it took me technology at its best. It took me a while.
No problem, sir. You may begin.
Thank you. Council President Katz and members of the Council, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Jim Agliata, and I'm here on behalf of URW, formerly Westfield Corporation, to speak on Recommendation 6.6 of the SSP Subdivision Staging Policy, which provides that any development located in a qualified opportunity zone certified by the United States Treasury Department is exempt from development taxes. This recommendation is made in concert with the recommendation to eliminate the current impact tax exemptions for development in former enterprise zones. Wheaton is a qualified opportunity zone, and up until last year was a designated enterprise zone. Given the current economic environment of Wheaton, coupled with the county's overall desire to see redevelopment in this area, URW requests your support of Recommendation 6.6 to exempt opportunity zones from impact taxes. Even before the pandemic, it was clear to URW that traditional malls need to reinvent themselves to stay viable. As many of you know, over the past several years, URW has focused on introducing mixed uses to Montgomery Mall, and we are pleased that in July the Planning Board approved our project. URW has also begun to focus on redevelopment of Wheaton Mall, developing mixed-use concept plans. It is apparent to URW that redevelopment of Wheaton Mall will be much more challenging than that of Montgomery Mall. The economics of Wheaton are very different than Montgomery Mall. The apartment rents are much lower, but unfortunately the costs to construct are much the same. The economic reality is that even when we have no impact taxes included, it is difficult to create a project that is feasible. We appreciate that the SSP recommends lowering the school taxes in areas such as Wheaton, but that is not enough. The additional school and transportation impact tax of approximately $6,000 per unit adds a cost of $4.2 million on a 700-unit project. This cost could influence whether a project moves forward or not. If you also consider that a 700-unit project would generate an annual real estate tax of approximately $2.5 million, it makes good economic sense to create the best opportunity for development in Wheaton by exempting opportunity zones from the impact taxes as recommended in 6.6.
Mr. Agliata, I'm sorry, you're out of time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Mr. President, I don't see our other two speakers back on the line, so that does it for speakers for this public hearing.
Mayor Ashman did text me that the city of Gaithersburg will be sending their testimony in a written form.
Very good.
Next is agenda item number 19, and that's Bill 3820, Taxation Development Impact Taxes for Transportation and Public School Improvements Amendments. And it's my understanding there are no speakers for this hearing. Is that correct, Ms. Kennedy?
That's correct.
And the last bill is last public hearing is agenda item number 20, Expedited Bill 3920, Taxation Recordation Tax Amendments. And I understand there is a speaker for that.
Yes, sir. We have one speaker, Danae Madison Sky, and Ms. Sky, you may begin. Are you there, Ms. Sky? Ms. Sky?
Hello?
Hello. You may begin your testimony.
Okay, there we are. I apologize.
No worries.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danae Madison Sky, and I'm here to testify as president of the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors. GCAR represents nearly 11,000 realtors and real estate professionals. We're also the voice for thousands of buyers, sellers, and homeowners. As such, we must oppose Bill 3920 and the multiple increases in the recordation tax it proposes. While these increases would lead to incremental gains in the overall county budget, the funds that create these new sources of revenue would only increase the burden felt at the closing table by hundreds, if not thousands, of hardworking residents. The latest market statistics for Montgomery County residential real estate show a grim forecast. Prices are rising due to a nearly 40% drop in supply. This is a historically constrained housing landscape with a more limited inventory than we saw even during the housing market crash of 2008. If only those with extremely high means can buy homes that previously were affordable to others, it will further exacerbate our already limited housing. As our county grows, we understand the difficult task the council faces in its effort to fund schools, affordable housing, and its operating costs. But, as the council itself said earlier this year, quote, our focus in the midst of an unprecedented health emergency must be on bringing together businesses and residents, nonprofits, and government to address the immediate crisis we face. This is a time for cautious decision-making. This unprecedented emergency is not over, and our region will not instantly bounce back when it ends. We urge the council to heed its own wise words and reject Bill 3920's proposed recordation tax increases. Since we only have 2 minutes to speak this evening, we will be including more information with this testimony, and we greatly appreciate your consideration of our association's perspective and look forward to our continued work together to make Montgomery County a welcoming home for all.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, that wraps up the speakers for this public hearing.
Thank you very much. That concludes all of the public hearings for this evening. They're now closed. It has been, as was mentioned earlier, anyone wishing to submit additional material for the council's consideration should do so by 5 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, September 16th, which is tomorrow. And the first of several Fed and Planning, Housing, and Economic Development and Government Operation Committee work sessions is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, September 23rd. I thank everyone for being with us this evening. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Keep us healthy. So I continue to implore people to think about the role that we as human beings play. It's not really often that somebody can get in front of you and say, it's